Today we're going to talk about the Murgetroid box itself and its construction and how it's actually changed over time some. Last we were talking about getting power to the Murgetroid, and I wanted to show you now that I've wired in the wire, which is the positive 12 volts coming into the box here on the bottom where I've attached the power unit, and you can see I added two 1000 microfarad capacitors there in parallel with each other across the 12 volt line input and ground as well to the input of the module. The output of the module I wired also. I added had extra cap, so I put 1000 mics on the 5 volts on the output, and I attached wires which will then run to the other half of the box. So just a note here, I want to mention that this box is really cool. It comes from Amazon, as everything in the Murgetroid does pretty much. And these back plates, these two plates actually come off entirely. We'll talk about that in a minute, a little bit more. But I wanted to show you at this point the top half of the box, which we've really not looked at all. And the top half of the box has two things going for it. First of all, you'll notice the side panels, I've taken them off. In any case, I've also attached these aluminum brackets. And these are right-angled aluminum and 3/4 inch each, and 1/16 of an inch thick, which can also be purchased from Amazon. And my friend Keith has drilled holes in the top of the box appropriately, and drilled holes into the top of this flange where the panel, the LED panel here, is going to go and be mounted. You can see it's got corresponding holes here. Mention once again, these holes should be slightly larger than the holes that are used for the mounting. I think these are 4-40 screws in order to allow for some horizontal movement and adjustment. When you get to that point, we'll see it again. Anyway, you can see these it'll mount into this flange here. I'm not mounting it at this moment because I need to do a lot of wiring, and the wiring will be done on the bottom side. And what's going to happen here, you see on the bottom, I've actually only mounted one of the microprocessors. The other microprocessor is going to go into this slot, but I wanted to show you how I mounted it. Basically, I used epoxy putty, and if you do a search on Amazon, you'll find plenty of them. And I made it to a little ball, and I put it onto the bottom, and I squished it on there, and within a few minutes it's now permanently in place and exactly positioned where I need it, which is to say, on one side we have the programming port for the microprocessor, and on the other side is the antenna, which is the Bluetooth antenna and Wi-Fi antenna sticking out of the box. You don't want it inside the box. If it's inside the box, it'll be shielded and it won't work. So this arrangement is completely different actually than what I used on the first model Murgetroid. I'm building a second one here, you see. And the first one, the microprocessors were arranged exactly opposite. They were arranged going this direction. And that meant that the port was on the other side. It's actually, I'll have to show you some pictures of it, but the point I'm making is this is a different arrangement for the microprocessors, and it's not been tried. One thing you'll note also is that there's a hole there in the middle of the box, which of course is where the panel wires are going to pass through the bracket and into the Murgetroid electronics, where they're going to connect to the microprocessor. The other microprocessor will be there as well. Now, you may be wondering why there's two microprocessors, and that's an excellent question, which I'll answer in more detail when we get to when I make a video on the history of the Murgetroid. But frankly, at this point in time, everything that the Murgetroid does today can be done with a single microprocessor. So if, in fact, all you wanted to do was everything that it can do today, which you can see in the earlier videos, you could take this microprocessor and move it to the middle and make your life easier, or simplify the project. In any case, the second microprocessor is there as a expansion, as it were, for things I'm intending to do in the future, which will be covered also in a future video. I wanted to mention that my friend Keith did a very nice job in milling out portions of this box. Along this top edge you can see it's milled actually, but if you don't have that kind of technology as a machine shop, then you could actually make a hole in order to get to the port and allow the microprocessor to go in there. And that's because this box is actually a little bit too small in this dimension, and so as such this microprocessor doesn't quite fit without a little bit of finagling. And the ease of finagling for anybody who doesn't have a machine shop would be to simply cut out this portion of the box, and you'd have a hole in the box, and I don't think anybody would care about that. Okay, so the two boxes then of course will fit together nicely, and they'll fit on, it'll be like that with the panel on the top. So in any case, I think that's what I need to say here. So here you can see the other orientation for the microprocessor. You can see I've got one of the Bluetooth antennas is sticking out on this edge, and the other one is sticking out on that edge, and that means that the two USB connectors are in the middle of the box somewhere over here. And the only way to get at them is first to offset them somewhat and stick a little extender cord, which you have to build, and route it over to a little port over here to allow you to get at it, and it's actually a lot more work, I think, to make this port available and not short, and to add screws and such, and it's more work. So this time we chose to orient the microprocessors in the other direction, and hopefully it'll work just as well. We'll see. In any case, I think that does it for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone.